Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is John Hannon, founder and president of the World Hockey Institute and the Buffalo Prospects. Tonight we have with us Ken Paulin. Ken's been with the Prospects organization for a long time, did the 92s, and has been a huge help over the years, and has also been very involved in hockey, youth hockey, over the last 10-12 years. His son Christopher is 92, so he's going to be 20, I guess, this year. So probably 10 or 12 years at least, Ken's involvement with hockey here. His son has gone off and played juniors and enjoyed quite a bit of success after playing locally for a number of years. But the topic that we're here to talk to Ken about tonight is FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and in particular, he's not going to take the credit for it, but Ken's done a great job of getting what's known as the FCA camp up and going at Niagara University, primarily based out of Niagara, using different rinks this year, but dorming the kids out of Niagara. It's a great experience to come together for about 4 days. He'll give us all the specifics on it, but come together for about 4 days, like-minded people, and it's not just hardcore people, it's people that are into character development and things of that nature. So to get some character development in conjunction with some very high levels of hockey, some outstanding coaching from some people that very impressive resumes we're going to hear about in a minute. But so much of hockey, I think, centers around the games and getting to Syracuse and getting to Rochester and going all over creation to play. And sometimes, unfortunately, the students' interests are left out. The spiritual interests of the young men and women playing the game are left out, and FCA seeks to try to bring some of that back. Not necessarily to bring it back, in the form of a fire hose, but for some nourishment, I guess you could say. So, talk about, Ken, how FCA is expanding. Rick Randazzo, who's a West Point graduate, originally from Buffalo. His father still lives here, has been the main guy. He was also coaching, I believe, at the Naval Academy, is that correct?
Yes.
And Rick is, talk about a fireball, talk about energy, but Rick is getting that all going, and one component of that, they have pro ministries, they have college ministries, youth ministries, but one big thing here locally is the FCA camp. So talk a little bit about the FCA camp, the dates, the ages, location, and the program.
All right, well, just a little background. FCA actually was founded back in 1954. FCA realized that the impact that sports and more importantly athletes and coaches have on society, and thought what better way to spread the word of the Bible through sports because of the platform that the athletes have. So FCA has been around. FCA Hockey was just founded, I believe it was about 4 years ago, and the hockey ministry has the mission of igniting the hockey world for Jesus Christ. One of the big ones we do is we have our Team FCA Select Camp that last year and then again this year we're going to host at Niagara University, and we have 80 players from throughout North America coming in, and we break them down into regional teams. So we've got Northeast, Southeast, West, and Canada / at-large. We usually have to help populate the Canada team because the person that puts that together is from Western Canada, and with the travel expenses, it's tough to get enough players. So these 80 kids, ages 16 to 20, come into the camp, and we have practice in 4 sessions, and it's pretty competitive hockey. Last year was real exciting, and the championship came down to a shootout, and everybody had a great time. But more importantly, and the bigger impact, was what was done off the ice. And we do devotionals, Bible studies, we do team building exercises, we take them to the falls and have a picnic cookout with them. We also do sessions on strength and conditioning, nutrition, and also presentation on college hockey. So really they get the full gamut. And the coaches, we have some of the top coaches from North America, both at the collegiate, from Canadian and U.S. colleges at all levels, Division I, II, III, and club hockey. are all represented. We have junior A coaches. We've got one coming in from the USHL, another from North American Hockey League this year. And then actually we get some pro players too, like Gary Steffes has been very involved. And Gary plays in the CHL. This is his second year. He was on the all-rookie team last year. So he's a great guy and really exuberant, full of the Holy Spirit, and really connects with these young guys because he's close in age and he's just so charismatic. They just love to be around him.
And he played at top D1 program
Yeah,
previously.
he played at Miami, Ohio for 4 years. He scored a goal in the national championship game that they lost in the last few minutes to Boston University. So it was disappointing for him, but I guess it helped build his character and shape him. So
Yep.
the Lord has a plan in everything that happens. Sometimes we think it's not for the best, but later down the road, a lot of times we see, how the Lord's plan has been revealed through that experience we went through.
So let's get the dates down, Ken, for the upcoming FCA camp. And this year it's for 92, 3, 4, 5,
And 6.
and 6. Okay, 92, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in 2012. And you'll keep that moving, right?
Right.
I mean,
We'll keep rolling it every year. So next year would be 93 through 97.
Yeah.
But we always do it Memorial Day weekend. So we start on the Thursday evening. So this year will be May 24th. Start out with a practice, and then we do a dinner, and we do some team building stuff. Like last year, we had a dodgeball tournament, which the guys really loved. It got pretty competitive. The coaches probably had more fun than the players, but it's a great fellowship opportunity. And where else can you spend the weekend in a college dorm with coaches and be able to share with them both about your lives and about your hockey and your faith? And everybody really opens up, and the coaches really spend time in fellowship too, because we always start every day with a little prayer session and devotional with just the coaches. They roll out of bed, have these meetings around 6 a.m. because we have a pretty full schedule, but the guys actually love it, and everyone seems to be there on time. Nobody oversleeps.
Yeah, good. So then there'll be a series of games and lunches, and they stay in the Niagara University dorms, and it's a real compact Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sundays, about 4 days, right, plus or minus.
Yeah, we'll end about 2 o'clock on Sunday. But
Yeah.
Friday we'll just have one game, and then we'll do the trip to the falls with a picnic and do some devotionals and things like that. Then Saturday, 2 games per team, and we also have a family dinner on Saturday so that the families can be included and hear some devotion or some testimonies actually from some of the coaches and players. And it's pretty powerful, especially when you hear from these young men and to see how they step up and really become leaders. And spots are filling up real fast. We're getting close to full, although not everyone's paid yet. So if people decide for whatever reason they can't do it and don't pay, then obviously that opens up spots for others. But
Ken, I know you've had the good fortune of having some high-level coaches. I think John Cristiano and the Sabres will be there this year.
right.
I know last year I was up and spoke with and saw some of the USHL coaches that were there, NAHL coaches, college coaches. Same sort of lineup this year. There's more
Right. Same type of.
more USHL coaches and college coaches perhaps lined up. One thing that is very interesting, I think, is that more and more individuals are comfortable proclaiming their faith in the hockey world. I was an NHL agent for about 10 years, and some of the guys that I had were Christian guys, and they were severely persecuted for this. A lot of that has gone away, thankfully, but I mean, I could tell some stories, but I prefer not to, of the persecution that these guys got, being sent to the minors for faith and so on and so forth. But I think in college hockey even today, it's heartening that people may have had faith privately before, but now guys like Mike Eves at University of Wisconsin and his associate coach Bill Butters, who's an incredible guy, has an incredible life story. Hard-nosed guy. He played with the Hanson brothers for the Minnesota, I think they were called the Saints, Fighting Saints or something in in the World Hockey Association, and he was a fighter, Bill Butters. Great defenseman. Then he coached at University of Minnesota as assistant coach. But there's another guy, Scott Borick at UNH, who's an assistant coach, and none of us are perfect, and these guys are all, seekers. That's a good term for all of us, actually, trying to find our way. But there's more and more powerful, influential guys. And I know Rick Randazzo, and I know there's a breakfast that you've attended in Naples at the College Coaches Convention.
Right. Yeah, we do that every year.
And it's not just a few FCA people and 2 or 3 college coaches. I mean, college coaches are coming out of the woodwork for maybe a 9 morning Sunday service, 9 or 10.
Yeah, it's I think about 8 o'clock.
8.
Right. So,
Okay, so
they get up pretty early.
it's an effort to get there, right? And,
Right.
And people are making that effort. Just because there's more to life than hockey, and people know that with families and looking for a little more meaning in their life, I guess. So it's quite encouraging.
And you're right. There are more players and coaches feeling more comfortable coming out and talking about their faith. And I'm one of those guys that I was afraid to, because for fear of being labeled or shunned or what have you. But there are a number of guys, and some of the guys that you mentioned, John, Mike Eves and Mark Johnson, the Olympian, who's also a college coach now at Wisconsin for the women's team. We've got podcasts on the FCA website. So if you go there, you can also see all these podcasts from NHL players, college coaches, you name it, some players. Rocco Grimaldi, who's a big star with the U.S. National Development Team, now playing at North Dakota in an NHL second-round draft pick. They give their testimonies, and it's just pretty powerful to listen to those and hear how the Lord impacted their life and what they're doing with what they learned.
I want to also mention, we were talking about other sports, and of course we had Lynn Sanity over the last bunch of months, right? And Jeremy Lin is a avowed professed Christian and has had a very positive impact in the world of basketball. Tim Tebow as well, and I think we're seeing more and more of these hockey guys going to have more and more influence going forward, especially when you got guys that everybody wants on their team. Mike Fisher, Shane Doan, these are rock solid hockey players and men.
It's fun to see this spread throughout the hockey world. Certainly can use a lot more.
Well, I certainly think, having had 2 boys, I've been involved at every level of hockey for 25 years plus, and back to these NHL guys, sending guys to Europe, Christian guys sometimes not. But it's a jungle out there. And for every parent that thinks that everyone's going to treat their son honestly, admirably, with integrity, fairly, there's a lot of built-in also issues with regard to hockey and hazing and all kinds of different things. People don't want to face the facts, but there's a lot of issues out there, and if a kid can just have the spine and the backbone to say, no, I'm not going to do that, more often than not, everybody will back off. But if you don't say that, then you just get sucked into the whole issues there. And a lot of kids have done a lot of things that they regret doing, and they would prefer not to have done, and they like to erase, for that matter. There's a lot better support system than there was 10, 15 years ago, 5 years ago, for that matter. So that's all really encouraging. So if you join a team, Rocco Grimaldi isn't by himself necessarily. Even if there's only 1 or 2 other kids, at least there's somebody else there for him.
This year, all the hockey games are going to be at Hyde Park. Unfortunately, Niagara University has to shut its rink down during the period when we're having it. So we're just going a few miles away to Hyde Park, and we've got practices in the late afternoon on Thursday. Friday morning, there'll be 2 games. Then Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon, there'll be games, and then Sunday morning, the championship games. So we'll post something up on the website as we get closer and the schedule gets a little firmer. And I encourage people to come out. It's great. People actually have had a lot of comments about it. Matter of fact, one thing we do before every practice and game is all the boys get around center ice and take a knee and say a prayer. And the first year we did that, some woman walked in a little late and she sees us. She says, oh no, I said, how can somebody get hurt already? We just started.
That's funny.
So she, it was culture shock for a lot
Sure,
of people, and a lot of people commented about how great it was to see that, because people are used to seeing that on the football field,
Right.
where the professional athletes will take a knee during an injury or after the game, and they'll pray together. But you're not used to seeing that in ice hockey.
Right.
So it's neat to see. And also the other thing you can do is every day we post a little bit of video on what happened that day and some interviews with coaches and players on the FCA website. So you just click on it and you get a little YouTube video showing some of the activities and some of the interviews from that day. And that's another way to be able to see, from the comfort of your own home, what's going on and how the Lord's working. And
Well, Ken, I just want to thank you for coming out. I think we covered all the topics we were planning to and hoping to. So I'll look forward to coming up in May myself and bring my son and maybe my older boys as well. And I think it's going to be a great time. I was very encouraged last year when I saw what was going on, and having been in this sport, in particular helping Christian organizations. There's another one called Hockey Ministries International, and everybody's trying to spread the gospel and share the gospel and the good news that we don't have to live in. We can live in a different at a different level than in the muck and mire of the world that we live in. So
right. You can live in the light, not the darkness, right?
that's right. Cross over from death to life. So I want to thank you, Ken, for taking time out of your busy schedule and for all the work that you've done. It takes a plow horse to get all this stuff done. Ken's been the plow horse here with FCA hockey, and particularly the FCA camp. So we're also going to take, we got to squeeze this in, I guess. You're going to take a team to the Chowder Cup,
Yes.
comprised of the best players or the eligible
Well,
players, or
what we're going to do is we're going to take advantage of this Team FCA camp
yeah,
to look at all the young men that are interested in going, and then from that we'll select a team. And Dallas Stewart, who's an assistant coach for Sioux Falls in the USHL, is going to be the head coach, and we're going to be in the junior elite division, the highest division. And it was pretty exciting when I sent in the application for the Chowder Cup. Sometimes you wonder how people are going to respond to a Christian team, and I was even in the back of my mind wondering if we'd not get accepted, because it's an invitation-only tournament. And I was very pleased at the email I got. The director emailed me back and said, I checked out your website, and he did this on his own. We didn't even give him the address or anything. And he said, I think it's great what you guys are doing with these young men, and I really encourage it, and keep up the good work. And accepted us and has a spot for us. So we're pretty excited. It'll be the first time we're doing this, and hopefully it'll be a great experience for the players and coaches, and an opportunity also to share with guys that haven't been involved with FCA. And
for sure. Good. Well, that concludes our time. I'm glad we were able to squeeze that last thing in, because that's important, to go out and have a good showing and so forth. So you can go to fcahockey.com. There's a lot of resources. You can type FCA Hockey into YouTube and pick up on some interesting and inspirational videos. So again, Ken Paulin, we'll put up the websites. We've had them scrolling through periodically, and feel free to go there and contact the FCA people. There's a Contact Us button that you can contact as well.
Right.
So thanks again.
Well,
Great having you, Ken.
thanks for having me, and thanks
You
for
bet.
all your support.
For sure.